briefly want to introduce you to a concept called mind mapping. Now, I'm going over to the other side of the page. Mind mapping is something that is a part of our DNA, internal and external. We were introduced to it right before we started our firm, and everything we do has a mind map to it. When Vicki showed up to do our strategic plan, she brought her flip charts and Post-it pads and markers, and we said, nope. So, Vicki, you're going to mind map. And we... Yeah. So mind mapping, just to give you an idea, and I'll show you how we use mind mapping to communicate and weave between the generations, what each generation sees within the mind map. Mind mapping, I liken it to March Madness in that the bracketology. I'm not a big basketball fan. I'm a Packer fan. But this is, in March, I love looking at this because the brackets. It just appeals to me. It's very aesthetic to me. And the reason why it is most people are not linear thinkers. The human mind is not linear. In fact, some of us are more nonlinear than others. A friend of mine gave me this book that you see in the back there, ADD on the Job, Making Your AD Work for You. It's 300 pages, no pictures. I didn't make it through the preface before I tossed it aside. And the reason why is the human brain looks like this going on. That's not linear, left to right, top to bottom. That's what's not happening inside the human brain. That's what's going on there. And so what mind mapping does, it seeks to capture what's happening inside the human mind and helps you organize, store, recall, and present information. In fact, what you're doing right now on the paper, for those of you who are taking notes, that is a mind map. It's the way the human mind kind of thinks. And so what happens is we can use mind mapping applications for note-taking, problem-solving, brainstorming, strategic planning, Vicki, document management, presenting, and book writing. Those are the functions that we use it for. We use it for everything. And so when we look at a mind map, and right here, this is what a mind map, a very base mind map looks like. So 2 weeks ago, I had Kyoko, my friend here at my office, and I wanted to learn more about Kyoko. I could have done it one of two ways. I said, Kyoko, if you could write me just four paragraphs about yourself, or just tell me about yourself and your family, your job, your hobbies, and what your bucket list is. He could start doing that in linear fashion. He could tell me verbally, or I could have him draw it out on a piece of paper or on a screen with a computer program. And we did this. And so Kyoko and I did this. We put on the upper right his family, what he does for a business, the farm in Kenya, as well as his ministry that he has in Kenya, his goals, and then what his bucket list, if you will, is that he wants to do. And after about 30 minutes, I had a real connection with Kyoko and where he's from. We Google mapped his village in Kenya and put it there. But this is a base mind map. Mind maps come in all forms and styles. This is a strategic plan that you can use it for, and writing a business plan. When we were getting ready to move, and we didn't move, we're staying put here in Wheaton, my wife and I, we put together a mind map just charting all the details that you have to put together in doing a cross-country move. My son, Dan, he is more of a linear guy, thinking-wise, but he has his own mind maps, as does my nonlinear son, Calvin, and they do mind mapping all the time, and this is what Dan tracks his running progress that he does here. And then church notes that you can take notes, conferences, churches, what have you, on mind mapping.